Bienvenidos. Welcome to the 47th annual convening of one of the most enriching experiences in our community, the celebration of diversity and traditions known as Tucson Meet Yourself. I am Supervisor Betty Villegas, and on behalf of the Pima County Board of Supervisors and all the residents of our beloved community, I am happy you can join us. Pima County is a mix of ancestral cultures with lifetime and longtime residents and our new arrivals, all sharing the air, the land, and the history of the beautiful Sonoran Desert. Lucky for us, we also share the foods, dances, music, manual arts, and rituals of dozens of different cultural communities and folk groups, all of which call Pima County home. Every year, Tucson Meet Yourself, sometimes referred to as TMY, is our community's shared big tent where we discover, respect, and celebrate each other. Congratulations and thank you, Tucson Meet Yourself organizers, for adapting this year's 2020 festival to the new public health precaution guidelines. This year, TMY has reframed the event to include a socially distanced virtual experience that offers each of us an opportunity to be connected while remaining safe. There is so much beauty, strength, and resilience in every one of our cultural traditions, and I encourage you to join us in support and celebration of them all. Please enjoy all the offerings, and remember, we will get through all the challenges because we are Pima County strong.
Welcome to this program, part of the 2020 edition of Tucson Meet Yourself Reframe. I want to take this moment to thank our sponsors. Without their generosity, none of these wonderful offerings would have been possible. First, our major sponsors, Pima County, the City of Tucson, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Arizona Commission on the Arts, the Arts Foundation for Tucson and Southern Arizona, and the University of Arizona College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and the Southwest Center. In addition, I want to thank our presenting sponsors, businesses that stuck with us even in these difficult times. Thank you to Cox, Tucson Electric Power, Visit Tucson, Desert Diamond Casino, and Chicanos por la Causa. Enjoy the program.
Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? And the revenue officers are coming, gonna tear your still house down. Now the first time I'd seen darling Corey, she was standing by the sea, had a 44 strapped around her bosom, had a banjo on her knee. Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? And the revenue officers, they're coming, gonna tear your still house down. Go away, darling Corey. We're just standing round my bed. Bad liquor has ruined my body. Pretty women have gone to my head. Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so sound? And the revenue officers, they're coming, gonna tear your still house down. Oh yes, my darling, I will do the best I can, and I'll never give my loving to another man, no man. Wake up, darling Corey. What makes you sleep so And my revenue officers, they're coming, gonna tear your still house down. Dig a hole in the meadow, dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow, gotta lay darling Corey down. Wake up, darling Corey, what makes you sleep so sound? And my revenue officers, they're coming, gonna tear your still house down. Wake up, darling Corey, what makes you sleep so sound? And my revenue officers, they're coming, gonna tear your still house down. So, I'm Dan Levenson. This is my partner, Emmy Chuckenmiller, and we are here for our Tucson Meet Yourself presentation performance for you. Everything is being done remote, so welcome to our studio here, and thanks to everybody who's making this possible. We're going to sort of mix things up, go in and out. Emmy's going to kind of take a little break here while I start a solo part of the show, and then she's going to come back and join us for some more music in just a little bit. So stay tuned. I've been playing music for a lot of my life, and started out years ago playing piano and then violin, which soon became fiddle, but somehow I've always been enamored with the banjo and the banjo music. And that first piece that Emmy and I did together, Darling Corey, was a tune I first heard years ago from my parents singing and from the Weavers album, at Pete Seeger's version of the tune, pretty much. But as I got deeper into the music of the old time world and banjos and fiddles and stuff, I discovered these older sounding banjos that had a much more mellow and different sound. And, well, I'll let you hear it for yourself. This is a banjo that was built for me by John Bolin up in Washington State, but it's pretty much a good representation of what a banjo might have looked like in the mid-1800s, and sounded like this.
those are two tunes. One is called Rush and the Pepper, and you might have recognized the second one as Polly Put the Kettle On. A lot of us sang that when we were very young, and a lot of these tunes did indeed come from the old time traditions and the Appalachian music that I was raised with. But the banjo has a very long and ancient history going into many different countries, and while a lot of people are very aware of the African roots of the banjo, excuse me, few are aware of its roots in the Asian countries, particularly in China and places like that, where the Chinese banjos could go back as much as 4,000 years BC. But we haven't just looked at much of that over the years. But I did get a chance to play with another musician for about a year who had learned music in China and brought some of these Chinese tunes over, and it discovered that they fit perfectly well on the old banjos or the new banjos and the tuning that I'm using. It's a double C style tuning. This is down into G because of the pitch of the strings. But playing in what I play, the clawhammer style, it's an old stroke style of playing, and with an unmodified instrument, unmodified stroke, I was able to learn and play some of these Chinese tunes. And the Chinese tunes, unlike the American dance tunes, the United States Appalachian dance tunes tend to be dance tunes. The Chinese tunes more tell a story. They paint a picture in music. And the picture of the tune I'm going to play for you, it's called Thunder on a Dry Day, is depicting a time as a very long drought has come to an end in China, the type of drought where food doesn't grow, where plants just don't grow, everything is turned to sort of desert, and people are hungry because there isn't enough food. So this tune depicts the sound of the oncoming storm to break the drought in the distance, and if you listen, you can hear the rain coming, the thunder starting, and the people rejoicing. So Thunder on a Dry Day. See the pictures that it's painting for you? Also, it was always a music exercise for me over the years, but so were songs. The old songs, the English songs that came over, the Irish and the Appalachian music kind of blended. Everything created a sound. And I was very lucky, I think, to be raised in a family that had music. My dad called square dances, but he also listened to everything from old-time music to country to bagpipes and classical. And my mom, she sang in the temple choir, and she had folk group. They had people come over and play, and she played some piano and so I got indoctrinated at a very, very early age, and my mom told me a story before she passed away about me wanting to hear a song. She said I was asking for a song. I wanted to hear Tunnel. Now I was probably about 2.5, able to sort of speak a little bit, but not make my thoughts necessarily clear, and it was bedtime, and I asked for Tunnel, and Mom had no idea what song I wanted to hear. So she did what moms do. She made up songs, and she sang about the tunnels, the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, which we lived near, because in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She sang about the bus in the tunnel. I think she sang about some John Henry things because of the Big Rock Tunnel, and they weren't anything anywhere close to what I wanted to hear. So I did what any tired, self-respecting 2.5-year-old would do, not wanting to go to bed, but being quite tired and ready for bed. I kind of threw a fit and screamed and cried, and she told me that night she felt like she was kind of the worst mom on the face of the earth. And I'm thinking as I'm listening to the story, isn't it nice to know you got even with Mom at least once in your life? But it didn't last very long. A couple weeks later, we were over at Eileen Goodman's house, and Eileen starts singing, and I start singing and jumping around, singing Tunnel, Tunnel, Tunnel as she sings, and the fox is on the towno. Now I know we're in a virtual situation and you're watching this on a screen, but you feel free to sing along. Maybe even better for you because no one's listening to you sing along. And as loud as you can, drown me out if you want, but this is a song that many of us knew. I won't tell you the name, but you're going to know it in a minute. Now the fox went out on the chase one night, prayed for the moon to give him light. He had many a mile to go that night for to reach that town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. He had many a mile to go that night for to reach the town, oh. Now he ran till he came to a pen there where the ducks and the geese therein. He said, a couple of you are gonna grease my chin before I leave this town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. A couple of you are gonna grease my chin before I leave this town, oh. So he grabbed the gray goose by the neck and he slung a duck right across his back. He didn't mind that quack, 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 legs all dangling down, oh, down, oh, down, oh. He didn't mind a quack, 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 or the legs all dangling down, oh. Well, Mother Flipper Flopper jumped out of bed. She ran to the window, she cocked her head. She cried, John, John, the great goose is gone and the fox is on the town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. She cried, John, John, the great goose is gone and the fox is on the town, oh. Now Johnny ran to the top of the hill. He blowed his horn both loud and shrill. Foxy said that it'd be for my kill, soon be on my trail, oh, trail, oh, trail, oh. Foxy said that it'd be for my kill, soon be on my trail, oh. So the foxy ran till he came to his den. There was little ones 8, 9, 10. They said, Daddy, better go back again. It must be a mighty fine town, oh, town, oh, town, oh. They said, Daddy, better go back again. It must be a mighty fine town, oh. Now this next verse kind of scares some people. We worry with teachers because for those of you who know next what's coming, it's especially vegetarians, you may want to cover your ears and your eyes. Cause the fox and his wife without any strife, they cut up that goose with a carving knife. They never had such supper in their life, and little ones chewed on bones, oh, bones, oh, bones, oh. They never had such supper in their life, little ones chewed on the bones. So I'm going to switch here to a more traditional sounding banjo to most of you with the metal strings. You can hear a little bit brighter, twangier sound. A lot of the developments of the banjo were for that purpose. This is tuned to the sort of, again, a standard tuning of G tuning. Some of the old timers actually used resonator banjos, but they've fallen out of favor with the old time crowd these days. So I like the open back sound. It's a little more woody, a little more open. But a couple of the old players that I had the opportunity to listen to, though I've never met them, were folks like Fred Cockerham and Wade Ward. Spent a lot of time listening to their recordings and some things about them. And they have very different sound to their playing compared to how we sort of think about playing today. And through some research and collaborations and work with another great banjo player, Bob Carlin, who is still alive and playing, I got to explore a little more in depth some of the playing. Now, I don't seem to have that ability to just copy somebody else's playing exactly. It's never been my thing. But I like to think that the music I'm playing, that we are playing today, has a tie to the history. It's old time. It ties to the old times. So I'm going to do a couple pieces here that might be reminiscent of the styling of, in this case, Fred Cockerham, his Train 45. He called it Train 45, and sometimes it's called Reuben's Train or just Reuben. And you may have heard a folk song that came from it, 900 miles from my home. So here it is. If Miss Train, I'm on, you will know I am gone. I'm 500 miles from my home, 500 miles from my wife and my child, and I'm home on that long journey home. Notice that kind of more earthy, modally sound. And another tune that I got from the playing of Wade Ward's going to sort of do some of that same thing. It's these tunes that we transferred, or we made a little more pretty. And old time music's not really pretty. I think sometimes that's what they mean. It can be well played, but it's not pretty. So a lot of you may have remembered the tune Old Joe Clark, and it comes to me from the playing of Wade Ward. Again, the banjo's tuned to G, and you'll start to get some more of that backside rhythm, that other just sound that it just speaks to you at one point. You try to incorporate it. So here we go, a little bit of Old Joe Clark. Old Joe Clark, all of Wade Ward. I've said a little earlier that at one time in my life I played violin. That's right. Started about age almost 9 years old and played through grade school and high school and the orchestras, and by the time I was done with high school I'd had enough of that violin nonsense and kind of put the instrument away. And it wasn't until maybe 15 years later when I was already sort of playing the banjo some already, and I rediscovered the violin as a fiddle, and I got a whole new interest in the instrument and a whole new vision of it. For instance, a lot of the old timers tended to retune their instrument from the standard, we know G, D, A, E, low to high, but they'd retune, and one of the most fascinating tunings to me is one called Calico. I don't play that many tunes in it, but it was based on the key of A, and the instrument is tuned to A, E, A, C sharp. One of my favorite old fiddlers, I always ask who your favorite old fiddlers are, dead fiddlers, you know, the guys that, and the gals that inspired you that we can't hear anymore, but we have recordings. And one of my favorites has been Ed Haley. And Ed Haley had a lot of music that he was responsible for saving, keeping alive, and thanks to people like Bruce Green and John Hartford, that music is still available to us today. Well, one of his tunes that I really love is an old version he called Lost Indian. We call it Ed Haley's Lost Indian because it was his variant of a tune. Doesn't sound much like the other versions of the tune, which also have other names. So tuned like this, so your C sharp is a unison tune. So I'm going to play it for you now, a little bit of Ed Haley's Lost Indian, and you know, after that we're going to get Emmy to come back and play and sing a little bit with us some more. But here's Ed Haley's Lost Indian. Now, Tucson has all these people that come and go from the town, whether they come in the winter to escape the snowbirds, or they leave in the summer to escape the heat. I call them the sunbirds. They all used to be referred to once upon a time as hobos. And the hobos would travel all over the country, take their tools with them and work and hop the trains and come and go. And you know, they'd come where it was warm and weather suited their clothes better in the winter, and where it was cooler and the weather suited their clothes better in the summer. So we continue the tradition, but there was a song years ago called the Milwaukee Blues about one particular old hobo, old Bill Jones, trying to get his way out of Dodge to get down to the warm parts of the world, called the Milwaukee Blues. I get it from Charlie Poole. To join us and playing a little bit of guitar. You may not know it, but she's a pretty darn good fiddler too. And one of the things we really enjoy doing is playing double fiddle in the old time way. And we're going to get our fiddles. These two are tuned to that A tuning I talked about earlier, A-E, A-E. And we're going to play a couple of old time tunes that aren't really that old. Old time music isn't about how old it is all the time. It's about the style and the feel of the music, and people are still writing these tunes. So two of our favorites are The Meadow Prancer, which is written by a friend Rick Kaiser back in Pennsylvania, and then The Road to Malvern, which was a Jim Childress tune. And these two fellas are still out there putting out more music than we could ever learn in our lifetimes, I think, sometimes. And they sound like this. Oh, loose hair. I know, the older I get, the more I lose.
I might need some.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, let's do it this way then.
That's good.
How about that? We're going to do the old knee-to-knee thing here. Ready?
Sorry.
It's okay. Small space, big
Situa-
position. Situational. Yeah. Logistics. It's logistics. Let's switch the fiddles.
Okay.
We have our standard fiddles here, and do a couple more of our favorite dance tunes. And the reason I say that differently is, for most of the dancing, the tunes have to be pretty even. A, A, B, B, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. But those last two that we played, they weren't quite that even. They're just a little crooked, a little extra hitch here or there. So you play that when you're upset with the caller or the dancers, but that doesn't often happen. So we save those tunes for when we're playing something like this, and we like these tunes from when we're playing a dance. This is the Blackbird Says to the Crow, which comes from the playing of originally from Cooge Bertram, but we got it from Andrew Porter out of the D.C. area. He added his little twist, and we've kind of kept that going. And then the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, the Cuckoo's Nest is a pretty old tune, and way back when there's a version of it called Quail is a Pretty Bird, and I sort of get my version of it from a combination of John Hartford's playing and his source, which is another one of those Ed Haley tunes. And it's just a little different than you're used to hearing it, but it's the way we like to play it, and the way we're going to play it right now for these people. So, you ready there?
I think I am.
Get your guitar back out and do a little bit of Texas Gals. It's a great old tune from Texas, probably. And key of C. Have some fun with some tunes here now. I've used this tune to actually come out ahead in some of the contests now and then. It's a good one for the old time world, but it's also a good one for the contest world. But we're not going to play a contest beat. We're just going to play it for our own enjoyment and yours. So, Texas Gals. It does have words, but we never usually sing them. It goes, I went hunting with my pals. We went hunting them Texas gals. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. That's kind of it. If you're down in Texas, you understand the woo-hoo part, you know? Texas gals, y'all. Texas gals. Well, why don't you hold on to that guitar for one more guitar piece?
Okay.
Key of G, so it should be a whole lot easier on your hands.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit of McMitchen's reel. Clayton McMitchen was one of the fiddlers for the Skillet Lickers. Played, oh, that was an interesting sound. I like that. Whole new instrument has been discovered. We just have too much fun, you know. We do miss being able to see y'all in person, and we are thankful for this chance to perform virtually, though it may be, and we hope you're enjoying the music. Most of your musician friends have kind of lost all their outlets for the music, and we're working on new ones, but this is a pretty good one, and I think we have to thank the Southwest Folklife Association and the organization that puts together Tucson Meet Yourself for not giving up, for persevering and making sure we get a chance to spread Tucson's music to all of you out there, maybe even a little wider than it used to be. We are going to miss the food, though.
Yeah.
We are going to miss the food. The food trucks, you know. What else could I say? Let's do a little bit of McMitchen's reel, sometimes called the hog trough reel. That's hog as in McMitchen's pig. Key of G. Not too fast now. Not too slow. Kind of half slow. So I actually get to keep the guitar for, well, let's skip that one.
Okay. Skip
Let's just go
shepherds.
right to Sandy Boys. I'll switch fiddles here.
Okay.
We've decided to amend the show a little different. We don't want to run too long, and you've got that guitar there, and it's working out so well. We have actually just two more pieces for you today. This is one of my favorite and longtime favorite tunes. It's from the playing of Eden Hammonds, who was a West Virginia fiddler. It's called the Sandy Boys, and I kind of like to play it in the way that Eden played it. Old time music, everybody likes to change different things and do it their own way a lot of times, and I like to do it the old way if I can, but I'm still going to put my own things into it. And that guitar part is just going to add so much to the old Sandy Boys. Sandy Boys. So why don't you get that double A fiddle you got there tuned again. And let's do one more piece. I want to think probably our favorite, oh, turn around now. Our favorite thing is playing together in the key A. These tunes really rock. And so we're going to close out today again with a big thank you to everyone who was involved in making this happening, and happening to you for being here and tuning in to see these performances by ourselves and so many of the other performers. Again, I'm Dan Levenson and my partner Emmy Truckenmiller here. If you want to learn how to play these instruments, I do teach, or if you just want to write and give a comment, clawdan1@gmail would be my email address. Feel free to write me, give me a yell. clawdan.com is my website, and maybe we'll see you in person in a not too distant future. So we'll close out here with a tune called The Boatman, which was a Daniel Emmett tune. Daniel Emmett lived around the Cincinnati area on the Ohio River, and not too far from where I was raised, actually about 4 hours downstream, so from Pittsburgh. And then The Hangman's Reel, which is originally a French-Canadian tune, but we play the U.S. variant. So thanks again, and hope you're enjoying the music, and we'll see you down the road. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.